All right, so today we are going to be talking about making and keeping financial records. The why and the how are super, super important. So I guess before I say about the why and the how, I should say what it is. Making and keeping records is a way for you to know exactly what's happening with your money. Okay, why is that important? Well, it's super important because you need to know what money you have and know what your bills are to know what money you might have to play with later. Okay, so for instance, if I know that I'm getting paid $3,000 a month and I know that all of my bills equal $2,500 a month, then the difference there between 3,000 and 2,500 is $500. And that tells me that I have $500 that I can then use for other things that I might want to use for that month. Okay. I don't really know that if I don't have some sort of record keeping ability. So it's important to have some record keeping. Okay. Now, the how is totally up to you. I will be very honest with you. When I first started working, and really probably for the about, I don't know, 8 or 10 years that I was working as a teacher, I really didn't have a record keeping ability. I wasn't keeping record. I really was just looking at my bank account and going, oh, yeah, I got money in there. Let me go ahead and spend it. Well, I was getting myself into situations where then I didn't have money when I needed it. And so then I started trying to figure out, a way for myself to keep my records to know what money I still had available to me. So I'm going to show you what I do. This is by no means something that you have to do the way that I do it. You can do it however you would like. Okay. I started actually before I did this on the computer, I had a little whiteboard at home that I would put all of this on. And so I would put all of my bills on there at the first of the month. And when I paid them off, I would erase it. Okay. That was my first kind of trial and error of making a budget. Okay. And so then I started doing this spreadsheet that I'm going to show you. And it just made sense for me to be able to do that. So I keep a Google spreadsheet for myself that is my budget that tells me how much I need to pay, and it also gives me other information. Okay, so in the first column, I have the thing that I have to pay for. Okay, and I also color code it because then that is the way that I pay for it. So, for instance, my rent, this is red. Anything that's in red, I pay that with a check. Okay, these things that are in pink, I pay those through an app on my phone, and I have that tied to my bank account. This one I pay over the computer. Okay, you'll see most of them, all of these that are in blue, I have those as recurring payments, meaning I set it up with my bank account and it automatically comes out of my account, and I don't even have to worry about going somewhere, sending a check or trying to do it online. It's automatic. And then I always write down my due dates. Okay, the date that these things are due, because I want to make sure that I pay them on time. Okay, now again, these things that are blue, I don't have to worry about that because it comes out on that date. Okay, but like all of these up here, I definitely need to pay attention to that. Okay, my rent is due on the 1st. If I don't write that check and turn that in on time, I'm going to have a late fee. And if it's too late, then they're going to decide to kick me out. Okay, then I also put on here the amount that is due. Okay, and this says around 100 because, TXU, that's my electricity. Some months it's 60 bucks, some months it's 120 bucks. It really depends on the time of the year. So I budget 100, and if I'm less than that, that's great. If I'm more than that, then I know that that money has to come from somewhere. Okay, then I have it set up for a whole year. Okay, so I've done all of these through September. Okay, I haven't done October yet because I'm making this video before I get paid for October. And another thing that I do is I write when I pay for something, like, okay, my rent check. I've written my check and I've turned it in. What I do is I put the word paid, P-A-I-D. I paid that. And then when I see in my bank account that that is out of my bank, so now they've turned the check in and so now they have the money, it's official, then I also put this period here. Okay, because then that tells me that not only did I pay it, but it's also out of my account fully now. And so I don't have to worry about that amount anymore. So if I were to go down here and let's say, so this is a kind of a later in the month payment. Let me undo these two. Okay, I know that's kind of hard to see because it's so small, but if I'm going through here and I'm looking to see, okay, all of these things are out of my account. Oh no, this one's not out. Okay, and this one's not out yet. Then I start going over here and I go, okay, I don't have the amount there, but I'm pretty sure this one is 15. Okay, so because that's a new one that I just started recently. Okay, so that's $15 and that's $10. Okay, that means 15 plus 10 is 25. I have to have $25 in my account to make sure that I can cover both of those bills. Okay, because they're in blue, so they're automatically going to come out. If I do not have that money in my account, I need to find it somewhere and get it in there before they try to take it out. Okay, so I'm going to go back here and put the period because I know those are paid and I don't want to confuse myself later. Okay, now down here, this is kind of just my budgeted. I predict that my groceries for the month will be $250 and I predict that my prescriptions will be $110. Okay, it could go beyond that, but that's just my prediction. So I'm looking here and what I do is I take all of these amounts and I add them up, okay? And that's about $2,430. So I know that I absolutely have to make at least that amount of money per month to pay for all of these bills, okay? I also have, don't know if it's going to let me get to it. I was trying to show you, I do have another page for things that I only have to pay once a year, but the way that this video is set up, it's not going to let me get there. But you can see that I have a way to make and keep a record that works for me. Okay, now that's the important thing, that when you're making your records and you're keeping them, keeping them updated, it has to work for you. So me giving you this budget like I do it on the spreadsheet, that might work for some of you, but some of you might go, oh my gosh, that is way too crazy. I can't do that. And that's totally okay. Okay, it's up to you to decide how you want that to look. So now we're going to do one problem together here that is going to show you how to use what the book is showing you to make and keep a record. So here we have a checkbook register that someone is using to keep some good records. Okay, and what I see in this first row is that on February 9th, the balance of their bank account was $100. Okay, remember balance in this context means that's how much money is in their account. What we need to do is we need to fill out these amounts so that we can balance their checkbook. Okay, so on February 15th, they went out to eat with their friends. Okay, notice we have two columns here. We have deposits, which remember that's going into the bank, and we have debits, which is coming out of the bank. So when they went out to eat with their friends, it cost $5.85. So they had 100, and now we need to see how much they have once this is gone. So in order to do that, I'm going to subtract $100 minus $5.85. Okay, lots of zeros here. So I'm going to place my decimal first so I don't forget. Take away 100 for 10 tens. Take away a 10 for 10 ones. take away a 1 for 10 tenths. Take away a tenth for 10 hundredths. 10 minus 5 is 5. 9 minus 8 is 1. 9 minus 5 is 4. And then we have 9. So this tells me that after he went out to eat with friends, he's got $94.15. So then a couple of days later, he goes shopping for clothes. And he pays $36.72. So he had $94.15, but then he had to pay for his clothes. So now we're going to take away that $36.72. 5 minus 2 is 3. I cannot do 1 minus 7, so I'm going to borrow $1 and trade it for 10 dimes. So 11 minus 7 is 4. I cannot do $3 minus $6, so I'm going to change a $10 bill for 10 ones. 13 minus 6 is 7, and 8 minus 3 is 5. So after shopping for clothes, he now has $57.43. All right, so then a couple of days later, he has a deposit and he wrote himself a note. He wrote himself the note that he got this money for babysitting. Okay, so now a deposit is something that is added. Okay, deposits are added, debits are subtracted. So now I'm going to add $35 here. 12 and 9. So now, after babysitting, he has $92.43. And the next thing he wants to do, oh, look here, he got a loan from his mom, and now since he's got some money, he needs to pay her back. So that's in the debits, so that's a subtraction. So I'm going to take away $25. Can't do 2 minus 5, so I regroup. That's a 7 and a 6. So now, after he pays mom back, he has $67.43. Okay, and finally, he decided to donate some money to charity. Okay, so donating to charity is a debit, so that is a subtraction. Now I'm going to carry this over here because I ran out of room. So I need to take away $15. 7 minus 5 is 2, and 6 minus 1 is 5. So now, after all of those things that he now has $52.43 in his account.